Have you ever felt like the moment you share a big dream, everything starts to fall apart? Like an invisible force is working overtime to sabotage your progress. The second the words leave your lips, listen closely, because this is not a coincidence. It is a spiritual leak. God is sending you a direct, urgent instruction right now. For the next 72 hours, you must shut your mouth completely. No bragging, no explaining, no seeking validation from people who didn't go through the fire with you. If you can't master your tongue, you will never master your destiny. The chosen ones are often their own biggest enemy because they talk too much to the wrong people. Do you want to see the breakthrough you have been praying for? Or do you want to keep feeding your enemies with the blueprint of your future? Stay with me until the very end of this video, because in the next few minutes, I am going to reveal the exact spiritual trap that has been keeping you stuck, and why these 72 hours of silence will be the most powerful weapon you have ever used. If you leave now, you might just miss the one instruction that changes your entire year. You are standing at the edge of a massive shift. The atmosphere around you is heavy with the weight of a pending miracle. But here is the hard truth that the world won't tell you. Success has many enemies, but it only has one architect, and that is God working through your obedience. When God gives you a vision, He gives it to you, not to a committee. He didn't speak to the crowd when He called Moses. He didn't ask for a vote when He chose David. He spoke to them in the quiet, in the isolation, in the moments where no one else was watching. The problem is, we live in a culture that is obsessed with sharing. We want to post the progress. We want to update the status. We want to tell our friends about the new business, the new relationship, or the big promotion before the ink is even dry. But let me ask you a question. Why are you seeking the applause of people who didn't help you build the foundation? In the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 6, the word tells us to go into our inner room, close the door, and pray to our Father in secret. There is a divine power in the secret that the modern world has forgotten. When you talk too soon, you dissipate the energy required to execute. You give people a chance to plant seeds of doubt in your mind before your vision has even taken root. Think about the 17% drop in effectiveness that happens the moment a goal is announced prematurely. That is not just a statistic. That is a spiritual reality. The globalist elite and the forces that want to keep you small depend on your need for attention. They want you to be loud, distracted, and seeking approval, because a person who seeks approval is a person who can be controlled, but a chosen one who knows how to be silent. That is a person who is dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. You have been wondering why certain doors keep slamming in your face. You have been asking why people you trusted suddenly turned their backs on you. It's because you gave them the keys to your house before you even built the walls. Stop giving your pearls to swine. Stop inviting people to the harvest who weren't there for the planting. The next 72 hours are a test of your discipline. It is a period of spiritual incubation. In the womb, a child is formed in total silence and darkness. If you expose that child to the world too early, it's a tragedy. The same goes for your purpose. God is doing something under the surface right now. He is moving pieces on the chessboard that you cannot see yet. If you speak now, you interfere with the move. You create noise where there needs to be a frequency of faith. The facts are undeniable. Every major victory in the history of the faithful was preceded by a period of intense, focused preparation that the world knew nothing about. Look at the life of Joseph. He had the dream. He saw the sun and the moon bowing down to him. But what happened when he told his brothers? They threw him in a pit. They sold him into slavery. His own family tried to kill the vision because they couldn't handle the greatness inside of him. Are you going to let the brothers in your life throw you in a pit just because you couldn't keep a secret? This is your counterattack. This is how you take back control. By reclaiming your silence, you are reclaiming your power. You are telling the world, I don't need your permission to be who God called me to be. You are telling the enemy, you can't sabotage what you can't hear. This isn't just about being quiet. This is about becoming a fortress. A fortress doesn't announce its weaknesses, and it doesn't broadcast its strategy. It stands strong, silent, and immovable. In the next section, we are going to dive deep into the specific spiritual significance of the 72-hour window. Why did God choose this time frame? What happens in the spiritual realm when the clock hits hour 24, 48, and 72? Believe me, what happens at the final hour will change the way you look at your life forever. The shift is coming, but only if you have the courage to hold your tongue. The clock is ticking, and the silence has begun. But you might be asking yourself, why 72 hours? Why not a week? Why not just a single afternoon of peace and quiet? There is a divine precision in this number that dates back to the very foundations of spiritual warfare. 72 hours is the threshold of transformation. In the physical world, it takes about 3 days for your body to begin significant cellular shifts when fasting. In the spiritual world, it is the exact window required for a miracle to move from the unseen realm into your physical reality. Think about the greatest comeback in the history of the universe. When Jesus was laid in the tomb, the world thought it was over. The enemies were celebrating. The elites were laughing in their palaces. But for 72 hours, something was happening in the dark that no one could see. God was recalibrating the destiny of mankind. The resurrection didn't happen in the first hour. It didn't happen in the second day. It happened at the completion of the third day. By staying silent for 72 hours, you are aligning your spirit with the frequency of the resurrection. You are telling God that you trust His timing more than your own ego. Clearly, the people around you will notice the change. They will poke you. They will prod you. They will ask you questions just to see if they can get you to leak your power. But you must remain a fortress. Without a doubt, the first 24 hours are about purging the noise. We are surrounded by a society that suffers from verbal diarrhea. Everyone has an opinion, but nobody has a plan. The facts are undeniable. The more you speak about your intentions, the less likely you are to achieve them. Psychologists call it social reality. When you tell someone your goal, your brain receives a hit of dopamine as if you've already achieved it. You get the reward without doing the work. That is a trap. The globalists and the manipulators of this world want you addicted to that cheap dopamine. They want you talking because while you're talking, you aren't building. Ainha Lundao Damdoido knows that true power is built in the shadows. Look at the blueprints of any great empire. They weren't discussed at the local coffee shop. They were forged in secret chambers where only the loyal were allowed. By shutting your mouth for 72 hours, you are starving the parasites in your life. There are people in your circle who are information vampires. They don't want to help you succeed. They just want to know what you're up to, so they can calculate how to stay ahead of you. When you stop feeding them information, they lose their power over you. It is a total collapse of their influence. This is not about being rude. It is about being strategic. The book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 23 says, "Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble." That trouble isn't just an argument with a neighbor. It is the spiritual interference that stops your harvest from reaching the house. When you are in the 48-hour mark, you will feel a shift in your own energy. The urge to explain yourself will start to fade. The need to be understood by small-minded people will vanish. You will start to realize that your silence is actually a loud statement to the spiritual realm. It says, "I am ready for the master plan." Are you going to be the person who leaks their future for a few likes on social media? Or will you be the chosen one who waits for the third day to see the stone rolled away? The difference between a victim and a victor is often just 72 hours of discipline. The facts are right in front of you. The elites keep their meetings behind closed doors for a reason. The high-level investors don't broadcast their moves until the deal is closed. Why should you, a child of the Most High, be any different? You are carrying a vision that is worth more than $1 billion in spiritual capital. Treat it with the respect it deserves. As we move into the middle of this journey, the pressure will intensify. Your phone will buzz. Your friends will wonder why you've gone dark. The temptation to just say one thing will be overwhelming. But remember, the enemy is listening for a crack in the armor. One word is all it takes to give away your position. Stay focused. Stay silent. Because what I'm about to reveal next involves the hidden enemies you didn't even know were in the room. If you think the people smiling at you are all on your side, you are in for a massive shock. The next section will pull back the curtain on the spiritual spies in your life and how your silence acts as a smokescreen to expose them. Do not move. We are just getting to the part where the real battle begins. Now we must address the uncomfortable truth that most people are too afraid to voice. The moment you decide to go silent, you aren't just protecting your peace. You are activating a spiritual radar that will expose the spies in your camp. Let's be real. Not everyone in your circle is there to celebrate you. Some people are only in your life to monitor your progress and make sure you don't outpace them. They are spiritual spies. They smile to your face. They like your posts. And they ask, "How is that new project going?" with a fake tone of concern. But their real goal is to find the weak point in your armor. When you are talking, you are giving them the map to your treasure. When you are explaining your dreams, you are giving them the ammunition they need to shoot them down. But when you shut your mouth for 72 hours, something fascinating happens. The spies start to panic because they can no longer track your movements. They begin to reveal their true colors. They will call you repeatedly. They will send passive-aggressive texts. They might even show up at your door, claiming they were just checking in. But the reality is, they are terrified of your silence. Your silence is a mirror that reflects their own insecurity and malice back at them. Without a doubt, This is the moment you reclaim your power from the people pleasers and the parasites. In the book of Micah, chapter 7, verse 5, the word warns us, "Do not trust a neighbor. Put no confidence in a friend, even with the woman who lies in your embrace. Guard the words of your lips. This isn't paranoia. This is spiritual intelligence. Even the people closest to you can be used by the enemy to sow seeds of discouragement if you give them the chance. The chosen ones are always surrounded by Sanballats and Tobiahs, the biblical characters who tried to stop Nehemiah from rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. They didn't use weapons first. They used words. They used mockery. They used concerns to try and get Nehemiah to come down from the wall and talk. But what did Nehemiah do? He stayed on the wall. He kept his mouth shut. He kept working. And that is exactly what you are doing in these 72 hours. You are staying on the wall of your destiny. The facts are undeniable. Information is the currency of the 21st century. The globalist elite know this. They spent billions to track your data, your speech, and your thoughts. They want to know your next move before you even make it. When you go dark, you become an anomaly in their system. You become a ghost that they cannot control. This silence is your tactical advantage. It creates a vacuum where the enemy's whispers have nothing to latch onto. Think about a fire. A fire needs oxygen to grow. The drama in your life, the setbacks, and the opposition, they are all fires that feed on your words. When you stop talking about the problem, you cut off the oxygen. The fire dies. You don't have to fight every battle with your hands. Sometimes the greatest victory is won simply by refusing to engage. Are you going to keep wasting your breath defending yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you? Are you going to keep giving your strategy to people who have no intention of helping you win? This is a total collapse of the enemy's surveillance. By the time you reach the 48-hour mark of this instruction, you will see the masks start to slip. You will see who truly cares about your soul and who only cared about what they could get from you. Do not be shocked by what you find. God is cleaning house. He is removing the dead weight so you can run the race that is set before you. But here is the catch. You must remain disciplined. One innocent phone call, one quick reply to a text, and the seal is broken. The leak starts again. The atmosphere of your breakthrough depends on the purity of your silence. You are not just being quiet, you are becoming a vault. A vault is silent because what is inside is too valuable to be left in the open. Your vision is that gold. Your peace is that diamond. As we move into the next phase of this 72-hour journey, the battle moves from the outside to the inside. The silence will start to get loud. Your own mind will start to challenge you. The ego will scream for attention. And that is when the real transformation begins. In the next section, I'm going to show you how to handle the voices in your own head during the second day of silence. Because if you can't conquer the internal noise, the external silence won't save you. Stay with me, because the most intense part of the 72 hours is about to begin. Welcome to the second day. The 24 to 48-hour window is where most people fail. The initial excitement of the challenge has worn off, and now the silence is starting to feel heavy. This is the phase, the internal war. When you stop talking to the world, you are forced to finally listen to yourself. And for many, that is the most terrifying thing they have ever done. Your ego is like a spoiled child that has been fed on the attention of others for years. Now that you have cut off the supply, it is going to throw a tantrum. You will feel an overwhelming urge to justify your existence. You will think of people you haven't spoken to in months and feel a sudden, desperate need to call them. You will find yourself opening social media apps every 5 minutes, looking for a notification, a comment, or any sign that the world still knows you exist. This is the withdrawal phase of the chosen one. But listen to me closely. This discomfort is the sound of your old self dying. Without a doubt. The reason you talk too much is often rooted in a lack of internal security. We talk because we want to prove we are smart. We talk because we want to show we are successful. We talk because we are afraid that if we are quiet, we will be forgotten. But Anyalandao Jamdoido does not fear being forgotten by the world. They fear being out of alignment with the Creator. The facts are undeniable. The most powerful people on this planet are the ones who can sit in a room alone and be perfectly content in silence. They don't need a crowd to tell them they are important. They don't need a blue check mark to tell them they have authority. They have an internal compass that is locked onto their purpose. In the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14, Moses told the people, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Notice he didn't say, "The Lord will fight for you while you argue on Facebook." He didn't say, "The Lord will fight for you while you try to convince your haters that you're doing great." He said, "Be still." Being still is an act of war. It is a psychological operation against your own insecurities. The globalist system thrives on your constant state of reaction. They want you reacting to the news, reacting to the comments, reacting to every little spark of drama. When you react, you are predictable. When you are predictable, you are a slave. But when you enter the second day of silence, you break the cycle of reaction. You begin to realize that 90% of what you used to say didn't even need to be said. You realize that you have been leaking your energy through idle chatter and empty promises. This is the moment of spiritual refinement. It's like gold being put into the furnace. The fire down to get hot enough to separate the dross from the pure metal. The dross in your life is your need for validation. The pure metal is the vision God gave you. If you can survive the middle 24 hours without breaking the silence, you will notice something miraculous. Your mind will start to clear. The brain fog that has been clouding your judgment for months will begin to lift. You will start to see the master plan with a clarity that you never had before. Suddenly, the solutions to the problems you've been struggling with will just appear. The strategy for your business, the healing for your family, the path to your financial freedom. It all becomes clear when the noise stops. The enemy knows this, which is why the pressure to speak will reach a boiling point around hour 36. You might get a text from an ex-partner. You might get a tempting offer that requires an immediate answer. You might hear a rumor about yourself that makes your blood boil. Do not bite the hook. The facts are right in front of you. The person who speaks first in a negotiation usually loses. In the spiritual realm, The person who breaks the silence first gives up the high ground. Stay on the mountain. This is a total collapse of your old, weak identity. You are being rebuilt from the inside out. You are becoming the type of person who can carry the weight of $1 billion blessing. God cannot give a massive harvest to a person who has a leaky spirit. He needs to know that when he gives you the secrets of the kingdom, you have the character to keep them safe. Are you proving to God right now that you can be trusted? Or are you showing him that you are still a child who tells everyone everything? The shift is happening right now, in the middle of the quiet. Your silence is the womb of your future. But as we move toward the final 24 hours, the game changes once again. It's no longer just about protecting the vision or fighting the ego. It's about the counter trap. In the next section, I am going to show you how your silence is actually a weapon that is confusing your enemies and forcing them to make a mistake. Wait until you see how the tables turn when you reach the 72-hour mark. The hunters are about to become the hunted. Stay with me, because the final stage of this instruction is where the real power is unleashed. We have reached the pivot point. This is where the narrative flips. Most people think silence is a passive act, but in the hands of a chosen one, silence is a lethal offensive maneuver. In this fifth stage of your 72-hour journey, your silence has officially become a counter trap. The people who have been plotting against you, the ones who have been waiting for you to fail, are now in a state of absolute confusion. They are used to you reacting. They are used to you defending yourself. They are used to being able to read your emotions like an open book. But now, the book is closed. The lights are off. The door is locked, and it is driving them insane. Without a doubt, the greatest psychological weapon you can use against a manipulator is the refusal to provide feedback. When you stop giving them information, they start to hallucinate. They start to wonder, what does he know? Who is she talking to? Why isn't he responding to my provocation? Because they have a guilty conscience. They assume your silence means you are on to them. They assume you are preparing a move that will destroy their influence. And the irony is, they are right, but not in the way they think. You aren't plotting revenge, you are plotting greatness. But their fear makes them do the work for you. The facts are undeniable when an enemy is confused. They begin to make sloppy mistakes. They will overreach. They will tell on themselves. They will try to fix a problem that you haven't even mentioned yet, effectively confessing to things you didn't even know about. This is the strategic counterattack of the silent leader. A Nha Lundao Dam Doido understands that you don't always have to fire a shot to win a war. Sometimes, you just have to let the enemy trip over their own shadows. Look at the globalist elites and the corrupt systems that run this world. They thrive on data. They thrive on knowing your sentiment. They want to know if you are angry, if you are scared, or if you are compliant. But when a mass of people chooses silence and intentionality, the system's algorithm breaks. It cannot predict a person who is governed by the Holy Spirit and not by their social media feed. By shutting your mouth, you have effectively unplugged from their matrix. You are no longer a data point. You are a mystery. In the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 7, it says, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways. When they carry out their wicked schemes, the wicked schemes are being unraveled right now because you refuse to fret. You refuse to give them the satisfaction of a response. Think about the energy you have saved in the last 48 hours. The hours you didn't spend typing a long text to someone who doesn't value you. The minutes you didn't spend rehearsing an argument in the shower. That energy is now being redirected into your master plan. The shift is palpable. The atmosphere in your home is changing. The spiritual leaks have been plugged, and the pressure is building. But this time, it's the good kind of pressure. It's the pressure of a steam engine ready to propel you into your next season. The facts are right in front of you. The most successful military operations in history relied on radio silence. If the soldiers had been chatting on their radios about the mission, the enemy would have intercepted the signal and set an ambush. Your life is a mission. Your dreams are the objective. And for too long, you've been broadcasting your coordinates to the enemy. Not anymore. During this 72-hour window, you are invisible to the radar of the kingdom of darkness. You are moving in the stealth mode of the spirit. And while you are invisible to the enemy, you are becoming crystal clear to God. Now that the static of other people's opinions has been removed, you can finally hear the frequency of heaven. This is not just about keeping secrets. It's about making space. In the next section, we are going to talk about the frequency of the Creator. What happens when you finally stop talking and start listening to the only voice that matters? Because what God is about to whisper to you in the final hours of this silence is going to be the blueprint for your entire future. The instructions are about to get very specific. The master plan is being downloaded as we speak. Do not break the seal now. We are entering the Holy of Holies of this journey. The revelation is coming, and it is bigger than anything you could have imagined. Stay with me, because the next 24 hours will determine the next 10 years of your life. You have successfully entered the final stretch. The noise of the world has faded into a distant hum, and you have now reached the frequency of the Creator. This is where the magic happens. When the mouth is closed, the ears of the Spirit begin to function at a level you have never experienced before. Most people go through their entire lives shouting at God, giving Him a list of demands, or complaining about their circumstances. They never stop to realize that God is already speaking, but His voice is a still, small whisper. You cannot hear a whisper in a thunderstorm of social media notifications and office gossip. But now, in the depth of your 72-hour fast from speech, the atmosphere is quiet enough for the download to begin. This is the master plan phase. In the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 1, the prophet says, "I will stand at my watch and station myself on the ramparts. I will look to see what he will say to me." Notice, he didn't say he would listen for what he would hear, but what he would see. Star in the silence. Your spiritual vision is restored. Without a doubt, the reason you have been feeling stuck is not a lack of effort, but a lack of direction. You've been running 100 miles per hour in the wrong direction because you were following the advice of people who don't even have a map. But in the last few hours, God has been dropping coordinates into your spirit. Maybe it's a name that keeps coming to mind. Maybe it's a business idea that suddenly feels incredibly simple. Maybe it's a realization that you need to walk away from a certain situation to make room for something better. The flaws are undeniable of the greatest inventions, the most successful companies, and the most powerful spiritual movements were all born in moments of profound silence. Isaac Newton was sitting alone in a garden when the apple fell. The globalist elite spend thousands of dollars to go on silent retreats because they know that clarity is the ultimate competitive advantage. They want to keep you loud and distracted so they can stay ahead of you. But you, the chosen one, have hacked the system by giving God 72 hours of your silence. You have given him permission to reorganize your reality. Think about the 17% increase in cognitive focus that happens when the brain is no longer forced to process the social complexity of speech. That mental energy is now being used to solve the puzzles of your life. You are no longer reacting like a victim. You are strategizing like a Nha Lun Dao Dam Doi Do. This is a total collapse of the confusion that has plagued your mind for years. In these final hours, I want you to pay attention to your dreams and your gut feelings. The Holy Spirit is performing a system update on your soul. He is deleting the files of trauma, the viruses of insecurity, and the malware of other people's expectations. He is installing the software of the kingdom power, love, and a sound mind. The facts are right in front of you. A sound mind is a quiet mind. When you reach the end of this period, you will find that you no longer feel the need to argue with people. You will find that you no longer feel the need to prove your worth. Because when you have the master plan from the creator of the universe, the opinions of mortals become irrelevant. It's like having the answers to the test before you even walk into the classroom. Why would you be nervous? Why would you be loud? Confidence is silent. Insecurity is loud. As we move toward the conclusion of these 72 hours, the incubation is almost over. The 72nd hour is the hour of the opening. Just as the tomb opened at the 72-hour mark, the doors in your life are about to swing wide, but you must stay silent until the clock strikes 0. In the next section, we are going to discuss the Fan Kong, the counterattack. How do you re-enter the world after these 72 hours? Otho, what do you say? And more importantly, what do you still keep hidden? The way you emerge from this silence will determine the speed of your success. Don't rush the process. The best is yet to come. The 72 hours are nearly complete. You are standing at the threshold of a new dimension. This is the phase of Fan Kong, the counterattack and reconstruction. But here is the secret that most people miss. The counterattack is not about being louder than your enemies. It is about being more calculated. When you finally open your mouth after this divine silence, your words will no longer be cheap. They will have the weight of authority. They will have the precision of a surgeon's scalpel. A Nha Lun Dao Dam Doi Do does not return to the world to beg for their old position back. They return to take over. Think about the psychological impact of your return. The people who tried to provoke you, the ones who expected a reaction, are now looking at a version of you they don't recognize. Your eyes are clearer. Your posture is stronger. Your energy is unshakable. Without a doubt, your silence has done more to damage the enemy's plans than 1,000 arguments ever could. The facts are undeniable when you don't explain yourself. People are forced to deal with their own projections. The spies who were watching you are now terrified because they realize they can't predict your next move. Now, as you begin to rebuild, you must do so with a master plan that remains mostly hidden. In the book of Nehemiah, chapter 2, verse 12, it says, "I had not told anyone what my God had put in my heart to do for Jerusalem. Even after the 72 hours, you do not go out and broadcast everything. You speak only what is necessary. You execute with excellence." The reconstruction of your life requires a new set of rules. Rule number 1: stop seeking consensus. The globalist elite and the mediocre masses want you to run every idea through a filter of social approval. They want you to be normal. But the chosen one is never normal. Your 72-hour silence was a divorce from the normal world. You have been consecrated for something higher. As you move back into your business, your career, or your relationships, you will notice that you have a new filter. You can sense a lie from a mile away. You can feel the hidden motives of people before they even finish their first sentence. This is the fruit of your obedience. The facts are right in front of you. Those who master their tongue eventually master their environment. By controlling your speech, you have gained control over your spirit. And a person who controls their spirit is greater than one who takes a city. This is a total collapse of the chaos that used to define your life. You are now building on a foundation of solid rock, not the shifting sands of public opinion. During this period of reconstruction, expect the harvest to come in waves. Because you stopped the spiritual leak, the blessings are finally starting to accumulate. It's like a dam that has been closed for 3 days. The water pressure has been building up. When the gates finally open, the flow will be unstoppable. You will see financial breakthroughs that make no sense on paper. Yet, you will see doors open that were bolted shut just last week. But remember, the goal of the counterattack is not to prove people wrong. The goal is to fulfill the mission God gave you. The best revenge is massive. Quiet success. Let your results do the talking. Let your peace be the evidence of your victory. The globalists want you loud, angry, and divided. God wants you silent, focused, and united with His will. As we enter the final hour of this video, we are going to look at the ultimate lesson of this 72-hour instruction. What does it truly mean to be a chosen one in a world that never stops talking? And how do you maintain this power for the rest of your life? Stay with me for the final 800 words, where I will give you the closing activation and the blessing that will seal this miracle into your reality. The journey is almost complete. Do not look back now. The 72nd hour is finally here. You have crossed the finish line of a spiritual marathon that most people would never even dare to start. Take a deep breath and feel the weight of the silence one last time. This is not just the end of a challenge. It is the birth of a new authority. The facts are undeniable. You are no longer the same person who started this video 3 days ago. The old you was scattered, seeking approval, and leaking power through every casual conversation. The new you is a fortress, a chosen one, who understands that the mouth is the gatekeeper of the soul. By shutting that gate for 72 hours, you have allowed the Holy Spirit to perform a deep clean of your inner temple. You have proven that you can govern your own body. And because you can govern yourself, God can now trust you to govern the blessings He is about to release. In the book of James, chapter 3, verse 2, the word tells us that if anyone does not stumble in what he says, he is a perfect man, able also to bridle his whole body. You have harnessed the most difficult part of the human experience, the tongue. Now, as you re-enter the world of noise, do not lose the stillness you have found. The globalist elite and the chaos of the world will try to pull you back into the rat race of constant reaction. They will try to trigger you with breaking news, with petty drama, and with the need to be liked. But you must remember the power of the vault. Just because you can speak now doesn't mean you should. True power is knowing you have the final word, but choosing not to use it. Confidence is silent. Insecurity is loud. You are now operating from a position of strategic superiority. While others are guessing, you are knowing. While others are chasing trends, you are following the master plan that was downloaded into your spirit during those quiet hours. This is a total collapse of the enemy's influence over your emotions. You have learned that you don't need to defend a vision that God is building. If God is for you, who can be against you? The 72 hours of silence was your training ground for the massive expansion that is coming next. You have built the internal capacity to hold the external harvest. Don't be surprised when people start looking at you differently. They will sense an aura of mystery and strength that they can't quite explain. That is the weight of the glory. That is the mark of the chosen one, who knows how to keep a secret with the king. You have done an incredible job staying the course. The lesson of these 72 hours is simple, yet profound. Silence is the currency of the kingdom. It is the space where the human ego dies and the divine will is born. The world tells you to be loud, to be noticed. But God tells you to be quiet, to be used. From this day forward, treat your words like gold. Do not spend them on people who do not value your silence. Do not waste them on arguments that have no eternal significance. The lesson here is that your destiny is too heavy to be carried by a gossiping heart. The master plan requires a focused mind and a sealed lip. When you speak, let it be to build, to heal, and to command the atmosphere. Otherwise, let the silence continue to work for you. You have reclaimed your power. You have confused your enemies. You have heard the voice of your Creator. Now go forth and build the life you were destined for, knowing that the most powerful weapon in your arsenal is the one you just mastered. Your breakthrough is not coming. It is already here, waiting for you to walk through the door that the silence opened. Before you go, I want to hear from you. This community of chosen ones is growing stronger every day, and your voice, when you choose to use it, matters to us. If this message resonated with your spirit and you are ready to claim your 72-hour victory, comment 999 below to seal this word. If you're not quite there yet, or felt this was challenging, press 0 in the comments so I can continue to improve and bring you even more powerful content. Or simply leave a comment sharing your thoughts or your own experience with spiritual silence. We read every single one. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. It gives me the motivation and the resources to keep bringing these strategic spiritual insights to you. You are the reason we do this. Stand tall, stay silent, and watch God move. The fight isn't over, it's just getting started.